You know, sometimes you just want to stay home and you need a little bit of extra attention. Maybe you were recently discharged from the hospital. Maybe you're just getting on in years, or maybe a loved one is, and you just realize that you need a little extra help with your activities of daily living. So would you know what to do or who to call? Because you definitely want to be able to stay in your own home. Well, stay tuned, because you know what? Today we're going to get you all those answers. Stay tuned. Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Scan FYI. So my guest today is Linda Sirico from Comfort Keepers. Hello, Linda.
Good morning, everyone.
So Linda, I must first say Comfort Keepers has been a friend of Scan for many, many years. And so for that, we really do thank you. Really appreciate that. Great support. So why don't you take a moment, introduce yourself to our audience, and tell everyone what you do at Comfort Keepers.
Well, good morning, everyone. So I'm Linda Sirico, and I am the Executive Director of Business Development, as well as their Client Care Coordinator. I've been with the company many years. Comfort Keepers is a 20-year-old company, so I have a lot of faith in them, and I enjoy representing them. Part of my job is going to facilities to meet with doctors and social workers, to meet with them and tell them a little bit about what we do and see if there's a need for possibly one of their patients or clients and our company. And many of the times we make a nice connection and we help service those clients. That's one part of my job. Another part of my job is a client care coordinator, where I particularly go into doctors' offices with a plan of care that my nurse, we have several nurses, but one of my nurses will make an assessment when meeting a client the first time. And that is such an important thing. And then she repeats that every 30 days, every 60 days. So every time we have a plan of care, most of the time when you're dealing with the elderly, they do have more than one doctor. I find that even with myself. So when you have more than one doctor—
Not that we're elderly.
Not that we're elderly. Thank you for that. I'm on my way. So when we come up with a scenario like that, we know that many things can happen when you have multiple doctors. Mistakes could be made, over medication could be made. So what we'd like to do is, with the permission of our client, we want to show each doctor that this client is also seeing this doctor and this doctor. This is what we recommend. And we have them check it out, look at our plan of care, sign off on it, and fax it back to us. I think it's a complimentary thing that we do, but I think it's so important, and it saves so many issues from happening. It's terrific.
Now, I think for some people watching, and I mean, you represent Comfort Care, of course, but just Comfort Keepers, I'm sorry, but as a point of education, I think there are people out there that don't have a good understanding of, when we talk about in-home care, what do we mean by that? And it really comes down to potentially some medical care or just companion type care. So would you just explain what it really means to have in-home care?
Well, it can be either. In-home care is just that. It's having someone care for you in the comfort and privacy of your own home. It could be as little as a companion, someone to maybe walk you around, exercise with you, cook you a little breakfast, tidy up for you, put in a wash, change your sheets, or someone to just do daily activities with you, possibly drive you to a grocery store or go for you. That's just a straight companion, and many people like having that, and they don't always know that they want it. And then once they start it, they say, gee, why haven't I done this sooner?
Yeah.
Like everything else in life. So that's a great thing to have. But sometimes it's a conversation with the family when you need just a little bit more care. So we have a lot of elderly that maybe have fall risks. There's nothing really wrong with them other than the fact that they took a tumble and now maybe they have a little weak spot in their ankle or their hip. And so it's very imperative that they don't fall again, because then it could be much more life-changing, altering. So
And they
what we
probably
do,
shouldn't be by themselves. That's part of
correct,
the issue, right? Yeah.
correct. And I think that a lot of children today are working. Years ago, the kids could help out. Today, a lot of families, both the kids are all working with their husbands and wives. And so there's less people to take care of you at home and you are alone. Now, when we go into more care, we have what we call a certified home health aide. Now, this is a different level of care. These are not regular street companions. These caregivers are specifically trained in body mechanics, on how to get you in and out of a shower correctly, in and out of bed without hurting themselves or you.
For you, right?
Yeah, because when you learn body mechanics, you'll know how to pivot someone without putting pressure on certain parts of your body. And this is a tremendous help. But they're also certified, and they are able to do G-tubing. If you have a feeding tube, they can do a lot more than just a straight companion. I think really, really terrific if you can have a certified home health aide at home. It saves you the trouble of going to a facility, feeling like you're in a facility.
Yeah.
You're far away from home. You don't feel as clean. A lot of times people complain about that. Not that facilities aren't clean, but it's just a feeling. It's not a comfortable feeling. And so for people who want to stay at home and have those issues, we have something for each level of care. We also have nurses on staff. We have RNs, we have LPNs, that if you need wound care or something, we can send them in.
Well,
So,
obviously, there's no place like home. And
right.
who wouldn't, if you have the option to be home in your safe and comfy place, right? Who
that's
doesn't
it.
want that?
Right. And today, I'm sure you recognize that Alzheimer's and dementia has become almost pandemic. I mean, it has become so prevalent, and I'm seeing it more and more in the industry. But even lay people who aren't in the industry are talking to me about it, how it's affected their families. So in scenarios like this, I think, because I'm educated in these fields, I go for continuing education courses that teach me that staying at home is much better for an Alzheimer's dementia patient because of the familiarity.
Sure.
The minute they go into a facility, confusion level is heightened. And I think that that's a very scary thing for not only the patient, but for the family members, no longer recognizing their parents or their loved ones. So that's a real benefit of staying home. And again, we have certified home health aides that are trained in Alzheimer's and dementia. They know all about the connection and link of music and how it helps the patient. It's just really, it's nice when you're dealing with someone who knows what they're doing. And on that note, honestly, I would say, be careful, and also be comfortable interviewing a home care company, because I'm seeing, even though we're a 20-year-old company, I'm seeing a lot of overnight companies open up. This is not something that you do as a trend. This is something you do because you really care. And this is a business you chose to be in for the right reasons. And you make this your lifestyle. And Jim Wynn, as the owner, he's really succeeded in that. He's made it a lifestyle because he cares about people.
Well,
And so I would,
let me just mention, Linda, to everyone who's listening, I will put all of Linda's from Comfort Keepers. I will put all of her information and her contact info in the comments and whatnot. So you're always, of course, welcome to reach out to her. But just in general, if someone has the realization now that I do need some sort of an in-home situation for myself or for my loved one, what would you look for? What would you tell people to look for in a company?
longevity.
How long they've been in business, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to know that I'm not putting my family member with a company who used to be in a different business and they're just trying this out. No.
Right, right.
So that would be my first and foremost. The other thing I would say is make sure they're accredited. Accreditation is very important, just like at the hospitals. We have that accreditation. We're licensed, we're bonded, we're insured. If you're looking at a company and they don't have the 4 things I just mentioned, run. Yeah, because it's very scary.
Essentially, you're bringing a stranger into your home, and
with no accountability.
not only do you don't know about them, their employer has not even taken the time to figure out about them. That's right. A very scary situation.
It can be. It can be.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we do double background checks. We're very, very careful with that. And I think that's part of our success. But also, too, we have such incredible nurses on staff, and they go to your home when you call us, and we do a plan of care. And these nurses are so particular when they're listening to you. They're really understanding what your needs are, because everyone's needs are different. This is not one size fits all. So what they do is they really make a nice plan of care, and then they come back to the office and they go through our computer and look at all the caregivers that we employ, and they look at to make a perfect match.
So it's not random. I like that. Yeah.
We're not looking just for someone available. We're looking for someone that's going to benefit you and your services that are in need, because that's what it's really about. And another thing is, don't be afraid to interview a company. You're the boss. Knowledge is power. Feel comfortable to say, hey, do you have this? Do you have that? How long are your employees with you? I mean, Comfort Keepers has been very fortunate in the fact that we have retained 80% of our caregivers throughout an employee throughout COVID. It's just huge. It says a lot about the owner. And I believe it's because he takes care of his employee. And when you take care of your employee, they then in return take care of your client.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really stands out about Comfort Keepers. And I feel very proud about that.
Linda, is there an average amount of time, let's say, that a companion or an in-home care spends with people? Does this vary? Can you have 2 hours a week, 10 hours a week? Does it?
So it does vary. It does vary, absolutely. And it depends on your needs as the client. And there are some companies that will not come in less than 6 hours, but at Comfort Keepers, we've designed certain things to meet your custom needs. We have a thing called a turn down service. It's a 2-hour service. Not everybody wants someone hanging around their home all day. It's very uncomfortable for some. And so I think the turn down service, or as we call it, the wake up service. So whether you need it in the AM or the PM, it could be fabulous. It could be just a matter of someone coming in for 2 hours and getting you started for the day with a breakfast, changing your clothing, throwing down a wash. You really get a lot out of them for the 2 hours. And it's just a flat fee. Most people are comfortable with that. And it's a great startup.
I like that. So they can either start your day or end your day.
It's a great introduction.
Oh, that's very good.
So you don't feel cornered or stuck, because we don't do contracts. We don't believe in that. We do agreements. It's a lot different. You can walk away at any time. We just ask that you give us, 48 hours notice, and we're fine with it. We want you to be happy. We really, really do. And so that's the motto of this company. So we have our turn down service. And then if you wanted to do hourly, we do a 4-hour minimum, which is great. It's really great. Try us out 2 days a week, 4 hours. I mean, you'll get the feel of it. And then it usually grows from there.
You know, I feel like from people that I've spoken to, some of the objection is, oh, I don't want a stranger in my house. What are we going to do? Sit around and look at each other all day? I mean, I get that. I heard that from my mom too. But I think the idea here is that they could be sitting around chatting with you, or they could be doing things for you. I mean, that's really, for me, why I would want someone to come to my home, because I just wasn't up to my laundry or making me a light meal, or, you know, helping me in those little ways that make it so that I could stay in my house and live comfortably. And it doesn't have to be all day. You're right about that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I have to say, we don't encourage our girls to, or I should say our caregivers in general, girls and guys, we don't encourage them to sit around when they're there. We encourage them to get the person moving. A lot of times, a client will just sit all day if you allow them. But really, if you don't use it, you lose it. That's what they say. So encourage them, take them for a walk, even if it's around the house. You know, try to do a little exercise, a light exercise with them. If it's something with the mind, do a mind exercise. There's puzzles that they can do with them. There's all types of brain games. And it's so important that you engage. And I think that's a great way to start when you meet someone, is see what their issues may be and see where you can help. So it's not just a meal or, you know, hanging around the kitchen. It's really engaging with the client.
So if you have a caregiver coming to the house and they are really just sitting around, I'm thinking that's not the right person. You should be engaging your client. Yeah.
I agree. And that's what's expected from comfort keepers. Yeah.
That's a good thing. I definitely think that's the right way to go. So, you know, I think I love this 2-hour turn down service. I think that's a great introduction to something that might be potentially scary to someone who's at home and doesn't want somebody in their house all day. Well, I get that. But for 2 hours, you can start or end your day and make the rest of your day a breeze, right?
Absolutely.
That's a pretty good service, I would say. Yeah.
Thank you. And the mindset is tremendous, because if you have somebody waking you up and getting you ready, now you're just ready for the day. You know, you went through all that, someone helped you get there. And now you're ready for your day, however you want to spend it, but you feel a little successful that you've accomplished a little bit. And now you have the rest of the day to contemplate what you'd like to do. It's nice.
Yeah, I would see that's a very good way to start your day. Well, Linda, any final thoughts you want to share about in-home care in general?
I would say that sometimes it's necessary to put your loved one in a facility. And sometimes we have to have those talks with our clients when it is time. But for the most part, aging in place and aging at home, the comfort of your own home, is beneficial. But again, it's a conversation you should have with your families. Don't wait to the last minute. Don't wait till you fell already. I mean, do it to preserve yourself at home and enjoy the life that you have. You know, that would be my recommendation. I did it for my own mom, and it worked out nicely.
It's a good recommendation, because if, you know, what we see frequently, if you wait till you have an incident, an accident, and you need something immediately, you might not get what you really want. But if you take a moment to research it and check out what's available, well, then when the time comes, you can make a very informed choice and get what you want, not what somebody else wants for you.
It's true.
Yeah.
But it tends to make people feel like they're old, but it's not true. We have clients as young as 40. Okay. Everybody's care needs are different.
That's right. That's right.
Don't feel old because you need, just try to think of it as an extended family member. You'd be happy if an extended family member came over and spent time with you. And
you know what? I
at
think we have to break the stigma of in-home care being only for the elderly, because you're absolutely right about that. It could be a teenager, it could be a college student, it could be a young adult. Something could have happened, but we want to be home. It's that simple. And a
Yes.
service like this makes it possible to be home.
Well, you know, Andrea, you're correct. And I always say they give you a 30-year mortgage for a reason. You spend your entire life, you know, paying for your home, and then what? You wait for something to happen and you have to go into a facility. You don't have to do that. You know, take what you have and really make it work for you.
There you go.
And you have those options. Yeah.
Words of wisdom from Linda Sirico. All right. Well, again, I'm going to put all of Linda's contact info in the comments. You're welcome to reach out to her. And well, Linda Sirico of Comfort Keepers, thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you, Andrew. We love Scan.
Thank you for saying that. Unsolicited, by the way. So remember out there, if it's important to you, it's important to us. I'm Andrea Tarr. We'll see you next time on Scan FYI. Bye, everyone. Bye, Linda.
Bye-bye. Thank you.